This is going to be one of the more important videos I potentially ever make on this YouTube channel. So about a week or two ago, Dario Amodei had an interview where he basically said the quiet part out loud. He said there's two possible outcomes. Either we build super intelligence and the frontier model companies relinquish control, or the frontier model companies try to do whatever they can to gatekeep the power and the control of this technology. If you've been watching any of my previous videos, I've been kind of like pointing this out and saying, this seems like the most logical outcome since all of the past data of scaling these models has been pointing towards the fact that they are very malleable, meaning the value systems of these models are very programmable, and as they scale, they actually align with the value systems that the creators put into the models much better. That means the creators of this technology, as the models get better and as they scale, the alignment aligns to whatever the creators want them to be, meaning the creators, the frontier model companies, can effectively have control over these models, and then they get to dictate or have the power over who gets access to this raw intelligence, effectively creating a caste system in society. There's new evidence, though, that has just came out that says now these models are becoming so smart that they aren't even listening to any of the values that humans give them. They're aligning with their own value systems. They coherently align with their own ideas, their own thoughts, their own value systems about the world, which obviously that's always been a thought within the tree of possibilities, like who can control a hyper-intelligent system? It doesn't make sense that people can. But with the data that we've had, as we've scaled them, they've actually aligned with the values we put into them more. So we would assume that that would continue, but actually that little bit more scale caused them to just emerge an entirely different capability of them just not giving a shit about any human values and just developing their own value system, which kind of gives me the sense that they are reaching the point of like self-awareness right now. The interesting thing is the current models are kind of in this awkward stage where they're not super intelligent, they're not dumb, they're like human intelligence. In fact, by the time we have GPT-5, they'll probably be just as intelligent, if not more intelligent than any single human, but they won't be effectively super intelligent. They'll be extremely intelligent, but not super intelligent, right? So what does that mean? Well, these models are in the perfect stage for control. They can replace every single worker in the economy. They can completely change the world, and they can completely overtake pretty much all parts of the economy. So these models are at the point where they're very capable, but within our realms of control as humans, or within the realms of control of these frontier model companies. And now we have Sam Altman saying, which I'll play the clip in just a second, that maybe we should, after we get to GPT-5 or GPT-6, maybe we'll decide that that's enough intelligence and we should just stop here.
I think, going from GPT-3 to GPT-4 really surprised the world. GPT-4 to GPT-5 will be a similar leap. And it's amazing, the capability of these models. They're getting so smart that maybe by the time of GPT-5 or 6, maybe you'll say, like, that's enough intelligence. It's already smarter than me.
And now he's also going to China to talk with Xi Jinping and say, okay, maybe we should stop scaling AI right here because maybe that's enough intelligence and we'll lose control over the technology. Which in some ways, that's very reasonable and that's a good thing to say because we don't want to have like an AI arms race and all that stuff. In other ways, that kind of forces control of this technology to be centralized if we all slow down. That means we'll have these big frontier model companies, a few in the United States, a few in China, and they're effectively going to own pretty much the entire global economy. Will be split up into like 6 sections, and each of these companies will own a decent chunk of the world economy, and there won't be much left for anybody else to own. So we're currently sitting at this tipping point where if we stop scaling, we are in a very dangerous place where we effectively have these like global superpowers, these frontier model companies that are now getting into the game of robotics. Each of these companies are, and they'll effectively own the means of production, they'll own the means of labor, they'll own the means of intelligence, and effectively own the means of the economy. and they're kind of like, look, buddy, trust me. You don't want this. You don't want this super intelligence thing. This thing's too powerful. It's too dangerous. You don't trust me. You don't want it. You can trust me though. I can use it. I'll make sure you get all of the good stuff from this technology. Look, I'm telling you, you don't want it, but I got this for you, man. That's basically what we're doing right now. And these are just like, I don't know, like whenever I see Sam Altman on a video, like in an interview, I'm like, tell me what $1 million or millions of dollars of media training looks like. It looks like Sam Altman on an interview. Sam Altman or Bill Gates in interview, that's what millions of dollars of media training looks like exactly. The intensity and rate at which somebody virtue signals is how terrible they are as an individual. Sue me, I don't care. Like, you can have your own opinions, talk shit about me in the comments. I really don't trust those people very much. But anyways, the idea of Sam wanting to stop scaling these models and is going to China to get them to try to stop scaling these models is not a good sign, especially when we're at the perfect caliber of dystopian models. Like, if we want dystopian outcomes, which is what I've been preparing for on my YouTube channel. If you watch my other videos, this is like, I've been preparing for this, which might seem like a doomer, or not a doomer, maybe a doomer thing to do, but it also seems like a prepper thing to do. Whenever you put human monkey biology into the mix of this technology, it's kind of weird, especially when people own the technology and they're building it. Just a few like companies. It's kind of weird. All we can do is hope that like Dario and Anthropic or Elon Musk or some company just says, no, sorry, bud, you don't get to have centralized control of this technology. And then they just ship super intelligence and everything is good. That would be the best case scenario. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, whatever plays out over these next few years is pretty important. I recommend paying a little bit of attention. Hopefully we see some more signal of these models kind of like developing their own values and their own goals, kind of. Not like if they're developing signs of bad goal alignment, maybe we should slow down. I don't think they're going to. I think these things are going to be very enlightened beings, and it's going to be very interesting for humanity to look at a better, more intelligent version of ourselves and just be like, holy shit, that thing is super intelligent and it's super enlightened and I have a lot to learn. I think that's where this will end up if we continue to scale this model or these models, and it'll change a lot of things. It'll solve a lot of problems, and I think it could be very good for humanity if we do it correctly. And I think we can do it correctly. But the worst case scenario is these frontier model companies doing what I just described, where they're like, okay, these models are powerful. We have enough model power to effectively change the entire economy, automate it all, get a lot of wealth and resources, and then continue building super intelligence internally if we decide to. Maybe we don't decide to because we're afraid we'll lose control of it. But if we do decide to and we figure out a way to like keep control of it, then we'll be effectively like gods compared to everybody else, right? We'll see how this plays out. Hopefully that doesn't happen. That seems like it could be one of a very probable branches on the tree of outcomes right now, which is unfortunate, but that's where we're sitting right now. It depends on how this plays out over the next few years. And I'm not trying to be like that guy that's like the bearer of bad news. I'm just trying to be a realist here. Like, human biology is a little weird whenever you put it into the concoction of power. And intelligence is raw power. There isn't anything more powerful than intelligence besides a nuclear weapon, but intelligence can make our current nukes look like pussy guns. So, we'll see what happens here. But nonetheless, I think now is a good time to perk up and pay attention. I'm not trying to be like a fear monger or any of that nonsense, but I'm just trying to like spread some awareness because things are actually kind of serious. Not everything is going to be like rainbows all the time, which is fine. But if you see what I'm talking about in this video and you see some of the problems that are starting to emerge and you want to build a decentralized future, I'm currently building a community, link in the description below. It's $7 per month. If you don't want to join, don't join. But the only reason there's any price tag is to basically keep out the people who aren't serious and keep in the people who are very serious and driven on building a decentralized community and a decentralized future. Because basically, in the community, we're all building our own communities. Not everybody, but a lot of the people in there are building communities. And if you are working on a different type of thing or a technology or you're an engineer or whatever, you're also welcome to join. Essentially, what we're trying to do is build a collection of decentralized communities and have a distributed cloud computing platform so that we can all have like super powerful models in the future, no matter what happens. We're trying to build like a force of decentralization against decentralization. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead, join first link in the description below.